My son is a sociopath and I want him out of our lives. What can I do? This account was made as a throwaway 3 or 4 months ago when I feared my son was trying to hurt my family. He proceeded to set the house on fire with his sister, my sister, and 2 family dogs in it. He has been an escalating issue for several years. I will post my old draft below and comment, and at this point he went to stay with his dad while my family, now homeless, took emergency shelter at a hotel. Because of the arson, a social worker came to my daughter at school to check on her safety at home. General bases to cover like access to food and clothing, and if she was harmed in any way. They met with me after this to let me know that my daughter has been sexually abused by my son. She is 6 and he is 13. I broke down hearing what the worker quoted to me, and I still am. My poor daughter had never told me. From the time, I guess this may have happened from context of the social worker's retelling. I don't want to pressure her or ask questions. I can deduce she may have been as little as 3 or 4. She knows that I know, and I told her she did the right thing. I'm doing my best to take care of her in this situation. Ask the worker how to talk to her so she can feel safe, and filed the report and will file a restraining order. The police are beginning to look to speak with my son. There is a reason this worries me. Ideally, they find him, and he gets arrested or sent to a facility. If he is given benefit, he will do or say anything to get what he wants. I don't know what he'll do or say, but I know nothing is off limits. The worker mentioned they'd want to know if he was perpetuating abuse he was a victim of, so I have already prepared for the possibility that he accuses any family member. My boyfriend has never been alone with either of them, regardless of the fact that I trust him or even myself of having abused him. I don't suspect he has been abused, but to him, no casualty is too great to spare in order to get what he wants. Everything is a means to an end. We have endured suicide threats that we took seriously, physical violence, running away, vandalism, and now arson or attempted murder because he didn't get his way. I know I'm supposed to still love him. I don't think I do. For the last year, the house felt so tense when he was there. We were always on eggshells. Being away from him, we feel like we finally have peace with the exception of this news and him being involved in our lives again. All I want is to be done with him. I want to move forward with my daughter and never have him able to come near us or the possibility of him entering our lives. I know, big picture, he needs to be away from people, guns, and the internet and into serious therapy. Right now, I just want him out of our lives. How do I make sure this happens? It's been almost a year. My son is now 14, and we have been no contact with him since the incident. He lasted about a month with his father and moved in with his paternal grandparents. For the last 9 months, I've been in contact with his probation officer and the courts as the case for his arson trial moves forward. He will do drugs testing, therapy, and the grandparents volunteered to be a type of guardian that provides shelter, meals, clothing, and school. They refuse to take on actual guardianship because they do not want any financial responsibility should he get in trouble with the law. I don't either, but I find it to be fair and have nothing against their stance. We moved into a home, and my daughter and I have been living a life that wasn't possible, or at the least, easy enough to feel possible when he was with us. She is still on a wait list for an outpatient therapist, but we still see the school counselor and talk about anything she can in the meantime. She mentions negative emotions, hurt and confusion regarding her brother sometimes. She definitely needs a therapist, and we will see one. But she is a sweet and loving girl who is thriving socially and excelling academically, with 0 behavioral issues. I feel for her, and she is the absolute light of my life. The week started off pleasantly. We skipped a day of school she does not usually miss, I swear. She got an award or party for her attendance, and we went to Disneyland. I sent out the invites for her birthday this week, and I even felt so great I had a cheat meal or 2. I got a voicemail on Friday at work. It was the police. They said my son was in their custody at the time, and CPS would be calling me. Apparently, his grandparents are turning him away and are done with him. He wasn't allowed at their home from 2020 on, so I know the grandpa already didn't want to take him before this. Nobody can get a hold of his father, and I'm sure my ex-mother-in-law is helping him dodge and making excuses for him. I tried to talk to CPS as briefly and privately as possible during my shift. I told her he is not able to come to stay with me because I live with 2 people he attempted to murder and 1 he sexually abused, and that their safety is a non-negotiable for me. Note: this will be a long rant. I am very upset, but it's event the CPS worker is the most confrontational and unpleasant person, and I dread having to interact with her in any way. If I have asked her to repeat something over the phone while driving to work or in a spotty reception space, it's only happened twice and she was aware of why. She is basically yelling at me, and she seems excited to have an excuse to be aggressive. She came to my house and immediately was cruel. She mocked my sister and I and shows zero empathy for what my daughter said, even after repeating the incidents of sexual abuse. She said, "If daughter does something, will you just toss her aside as well?" I said she doesn't live with someone she abused or tried to kill. Her response was, "This isn't about her. She's not an excuse." I got up and got coffee so I didn't scream. "It is about her. That's the reason he can't be here." She laughed in my face and made a show of writing something down. When I told her that they should seek my son's other family and that my daughter doesn't have other family, she said my son hasn't improved. He fails everything and associates with gang members, and all of this is because of me. Yes, including the attempted fucking murder, and he's just a little boy. It's so sad everyone is giving up despite me saying I'll pay for him to get help. She isn't even callous. She's too emotionally aggressive to be called that. She does not care about following up with any facts, and she seems committed to not hearing me. I stopped answering her when it was clear her intent was simply to bully me into taking him. I'm not sure anymore. She left without interviewing anyone else and stating that we could pull her. Where do you think she should go if so about my daughter? I am devastated. My daughter is leveraged to this rabid animal. Everything is ignored. She seems to actively be trying to paint me as unfit and the reason for my son's behavior, and me saying I won't budge means I should be punished and lose her. Nobody has gotten a hold of his father, but she says I'm neglecting my son. I have stated I am willing to pay for his care and mental health. She reacts like I'm a monster. Despite the entire arson case moving this slowly, she's managed to make us a court case for Wednesday, within a week of him leaving their home. My daughter will be at school during the hearing, and she has a meeting with her school counselor that day. I am so worried I will say goodbye and she won't come home from school. I think about her birthday party, her eye doctor appointment, the therapist waitlist, the vacation we were planning, and cry because what can I even plan for now?